Hi everyone. Welcome to Sports and Shorts of Sorts. Episode 19. We're getting up there. We're getting up there. 19, we're legal drinking age, son. But as we do each episode, our numbers change, our jersey numbers change, and we honor them as we go. Best ever to wear number 19. It's got to be Tony Gwynn. Come on, 8-time NL batting champ, 15-time All-Star. The guy finished his career batting 338. Like, these numbers don't even make sense. In 2,440 games, Gwen had only 34 multiple strikeout games. So there were better odds that Gwen would get 4 hits in a game than striking out twice in a game. That doesn't even make sense. Those numbers are ridiculous. One of the most respected players of the game. Tragically, though, after he retired, he was diagnosed with a cancer of a salivary gland and lymph nodes, and he had to have he had tumors from that gland removed. The operation left his face partially paralyzed, and there were more surgeries to come, more chemo, but it was too much. June 16th, we lost Tony Gwynn, 54 years old. Just crazy. Like, he thinks part of it was from his dipping his tobacco, like chewing tobacco habit he had that he'd been using since he was a rookie. It was more prominent then, but we don't know for sure. Regardless, it was sad. One of the best, gone way too soon. A current baller to wear that number, Joey Votto, Canadian, Cincinnati Reds. People are talking about him again. Not so much. Votto's helping, but the real reason might be Ellie De La Cruz. But we've talked about him enough for a bit. We'll hop to the gridiron. Johnny Unitas, obviously way before my time. He's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. You know, he was one of the true first superstars of the league. Abe Simpson said, Johnny Unitas, now there's a haircut you can set your watch to. So, as you know, the Simpsons teach you so much. But 3-time MVP, 3-time NFL champion. This is pre-Super Bowl era, so he does not have a Super Bowl. Or he does have one with the Colts, sorry. But those other ones were before the Super Bowl era. But he's got his number retired with them. Another quarterback, 19. You know, it was only for 2 seasons and it looked wonky, but Joe Montana wore it with the Chiefs. You know, he did everything with the 49ers, but yeah, that number, you still got to look at it. It was historic that someone of his stature, 19 though, weird with the Chiefs, yeah. I'll mention also Lance Allworth, played most of his career with the San Diego Chargers, considered one of the best wide receivers of his generation, mostly in the AFL, but he still won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys, but yeah, opposite him was another great Bob Hayes. You know, he was a sprinter, but he did great things in the NFL. It's crazy though when you think 19 hockey players are what jumps out to you. Boom, who's the first one? Steve Yzerman, Stevie Y. Detroit Red Wings legend, you know, sports icon. He's won the cup 3 times as a player, once as an executive. You know, he's a legend on the Canadian hockey team. I remember him playing in 2002 Salt Lake City. My family was in Canmore at the time, and we were what a backdrop to watch fucking Olympic hockey. It was awesome. One of his biggest rivals of his, like, while playing against him, I guess that's what a rival is, Joe Sakic of the Colorado Avalanche, you know, originally drafted by the Nordiques, played all his time there, and when they moved to the Avalanche, he went with them, winning a cup there. People consider him one of the, you know, the most respected players, which is a great thing to have. He's won the MVP, won the Lady Byng, Lester B. Pearson. He won all that. So good for him. And he's also won as a general manager as well. And he was with Stevie Y on that Salt Lake City team. Like, that was a stacked team. I also have to mention Brian Trottier, you know, 6-time Stanley Cup winner. That's kind of ridiculous. 4 with the Islanders and 2 with the Penguins, you know. Just a stud. You know, it seems like that's what you are with number 19s. And fun fact, Trottier grew up in Val Marie. You might know that. It's in Saskatchewan. So, holla. But yeah, we'll go to the court, and Willis Reed is like the biggest number 19. We've mentioned him before on this podcast, unfortunately for melancholy reasons after he passed. But jump in the footy, you got Bonucci, the Italian legend. He's done so much. He was captain of the Euro 2020 team that won on penalties against England. That was a tough one. And we'll also mention Julian Alvarez from Man City. He's gonna have a great year. You know, the champs, they're all they do is win. You know, that's they write songs about that shit. But he's done great things for Argentina and Man City, and I expect he'll have a bigger role next year. But wow, a lot of jerseys, mostly on the rink. I guess that's what you think of in July. But 19, solid hockey number. Biggest thing going on the weekend was Wimbledon, right? The Wimbledon was wrapping up in London. You had the semis go down later in the week. Kind of surprising. You had Jabber coming back against Sabalenka, but that's what she does. She gets to finals. So who would be meeting there? Marketa Vondrasova took out Svetlana, who is such a big story. Like I've mentioned it before, having her child 8 months ago, coming back and just it's crazy. So unfortunately, she was sent off, but that set up the final Saturday. Everybody was like, "This is Jabber's time. She lost last year. She's lost in finals. This is her time." But it not time, no time. The Czech forced the Tunisian into many mistakes. Even the crowd seemed totally behind Jabber. They wanted her to win. The commentators were saying, "Oh, Vontrasova, she's had an easy draw to get here." Kind of undermining her a bit. Half, kind of slaps to the face, but. She played great. Won in straight sets. Like I said, setting Jabber up for so many errors. You got to give her all the credit. And I give Jabber credit too because they always make the loser talk first, which shows like incredible strength. When I come up, she was like devastated. Second time losing Wimbledon in a row, but she had that look. She was thinking Kelly Clarkson. What doesn't kill you makes me stronger. She's gonna come back. She's gonna be great. She is great. She's gonna get her major. It's just when. So on the men's side, semifinals, they were straight set wins. Number one seed Alcaraz, boom. Medvedev, you're done. Djokovic took on the Italian Yannick Sinner, straight sets, boom. That one was a little closer, but it set up the final that we all wanted. And leading up to the final, Djokovic was like, "Hey, 36 is the new 26." So as a 36-year-old, I can really appreciate that comment, but. Set up the final we all wanted. Number one, number two, old guy, the young lion rising up to take him on. It was crazy. It lived up to everything. Like, at first you were worried. He's sticking it to Alcaraz. You're like, what is going on? And Carlos had a sick between the legs shot, lofted up. Crowd was going nuts. Brad Pitt's like, oh my God. But, it was challenging. It was out of bounds. But once those jitters were gone, the Spaniard, he woke up. He won the second set in a tiebreak, which could have went any way. That could have changed the entire landscape of this match. But he won, set up the third set. We're going in 1-1. Things were looking good. The crowd's getting behind Carlos. He goes up 3-1. And then the next game, this felt like a marathon. A game's usually pretty quick, right? Love, 15, 30, 40, boom. Go to the next point. 27 goddamn minutes. One game. That is insane. You could have watched a whole TV show with commercials if you still do that, if you're not streaming. But shit, that is nuts. And like, Alcaraz would use this momentum. He'd go on, secure the third set. He'd go into the fourth up 2-1. He'd be going in looking to win his first title. And the fourth set was even better play than earlier. Just shot for shot, tit for tat, any other fucking thing you want to say. It went down. And Djokovic showed why he's the fucking man. He won that set up the fifth set. He won the first game in the set, and you're like, what is going on? And anytime Alcaraz looked dead in the water, he'd fucking rise up. It was like the Undertaker on his back, and he'd lift his head each time and get the point. It was crazy. Djokovic was getting pissed, so he smashed his racket on the net. Losing his mind kind of riled him up a bit. You're like, maybe he'll come back. Maybe he just need to smash shit. We've all been there. But, it set up the Spaniard with a chance to serve for the point, and he did what he needed to do. He fucking won Wimbledon. 20 years old. I wasn't doing that at 20 years old. I was doing shit that's kind of inspired this podcast. Wild, stupid shit. But this, at 20 years old, that is amazing. Carlos Alcaraz, salute to you, sir. Look forward to watch you play more goddamn tennis at 20. Wow. Good things ahead. But don't count out Joker yet. He's not done. He still has, he's shown he can win, and he probably will win another Grand Slam. He's fucking good. Overall, great Wimbledon. Women's final, you didn't expect who would be there. Maybe Jabber. Great result. Men's final, you expected them to be there, and it lived up. One of the great finals for all ages. But Wow, just talking about it gets me going. But we'll jump from that to the MLB. There was a bit of a break. Well, you ask, All-Star break. And how do you start each All-Star break? By hitting some dingers. And after 4 years away from the Derby, Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he won the whole damn thing. Beat out Radney. I always fuck his name up. Arizarena. Well, not bad. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Oh, I keep calling them Devil Rays. What is this, 2000? But anyway, Vladdy did what he had to do, beating him in the final 25-23. Vladdy Sr. sent out a text. They became the first father-son to win this event. That's super cool. But like the biggest crowd-pleasing event was the home guy, Julio Rodriguez, hitting 41 bombs in the fucking first round, taking Alonso out. That was crazy. And then from that, we went on to the big game. And as I predicted on the podcast prior, National League finally took down the American League. Game started pretty wild. Catches and deep catches in the field off the wall, getting everyone going. Ohtani came up to the plate. You had Seattle losing their mind. Come to Seattle. Guess he lives there in the off season. You can do whatever detective work you want to see where he's going, if he's going, why he's going. We know why he's going because the Angels can't win, but we'll get there. And as I said, National League won. You had Diaz hit a 2-run bomb. Elias Diaz hit a 2-run bomb. And the 8th inning gave National League the lead. The win, he won the MVP. A great midseason classic. I guess the ratings were kind of down TV-wise, but maybe people were streaming. Who knows? I had the stream going. But yeah, we'll go from there. It's baseball returning on Friday, and the Blue Jays hosted the Diamondbacks. And fun little fact in that game, Vladdy Guerrero, we mentioned he won the home run derby. His first at-bat went yard. First time that's ever happened that someone won the derby and their first at bat, they'd go yard. And these are the kind of things that you get in baseball stats where you kind of got to pause and level them. But it was cool. Cool. I love when that shit happens. Jays did what they had to do, explode for another 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th of that game. They'd cruise to a 7-2 victory. Stick with that formula in the second game. Go up early. Diamondbacks tie it up. Jays score late and win. Boom. 5-2, which would set up Sunday. You're like, can the Jays sweep coming out of the break? Let's get that train going here. And they do that. They switch the script up a bit. They'd go down early and have to come back. But then they'd get a few more runs, be like, okay, we're good. But Diamondbacks would make it close kind of late. But Jays held on, did what they got to do, get the sweep. And they'll have Monday off before taking on the Padres on Tuesday. But I did mention Ohtani getting those wonderful chants to join Seattle, and it's kind of got the rumor mill going, and these rumors might be legit. The Angels, their phone's off silent. They're taking calls for Ohtani. This sounds fucking crazy. The best player in baseball, and you're going to trade him? But, the Japanese superstar said he wants to win, and the Angels are just not doing it, and it's tough as a GM. Do you let this superstar walk at the end of the season for absolutely nothing? Or do you find the Yankees or other buyers who are like, we need help, we'll give you whatever? Because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you let him go for nothing, you're like, dude, how'd you let him go for nothing? Or if you trade him and these prospects suck, or you're not going to get any equal value back as a rental. So shit, sucks for you, bud. We'll see what happens. Maybe the Angels can light it up and kind of push those talks down and maybe actually play for the playoffs. But I don't know. It's crazy. With the All-Star break coming and going, a few other storylines to think of. The Ohtani saga that's going to be on our minds all the time. That's one thing. But can the Rangers hold on, win their division over the Astros? And the battle at Texas, we'll see. I don't know. Who will stand up in the AL Central, if anyone? Or will they all suck, which they all kind of do? I'm hating a bit, but really, those records, yikes. Look at the AL East. It's full of beasts. Who's going to be atop of this fucking beast mountain? Who's going to be in the basement? The Red Sox and Yankees are hanging out there, spending the most money in the basement. Yay. And who's going to go in as a wild card? Because that division's sending a wild card team. Then you go to the NL. Who the fuck's going to win the Central? The young and exciting Reds, who I had mentioned with De La Cruz. Or you got the Brewers, who aren't as exciting, I guess. But you have a 3-headed battle in the NL West, right? And it's kind of funny. The Padres aren't the team involved. They might make me eat my words by sweeping the Jays, but I don't think so. They've been disappointing, so I think they'll continue to disappoint. And finally, the Braves, are they the real deal? They look the real deal. I almost didn't say English there, but do they look the real deal? I think so. I think they can go back to the World Series a year removed, and I think they'll win it. But that's mid-season talk. We'll see what happens. Summer is wild, right? A lot of different sports going. You're wondering where you'll go from baseball. Did you expect CFL? I sure as shit didn't. But we had some wild shit go down. Week 6 of the CFL, every game was a one possession, 8-point game or less. Tiger Cats beat the Elks. I still find it weird to say Elks, but anywho, they beat them 37-29, which puts the Elks at 0-6, 20 straight home losses. This is like a tied record that nobody wants in all pro sports, equaling the 1953 St. Louis Browns of the MLB. I had to look this up. They changed to the Baltimore Orioles in 1954. What I'm saying is this shit doesn't happen often, and it's shitty, and it's happening to the Elks. So, yeah, if you're an Elks fan, shit, I don't know what to tell you. Shit sucks. And another match, the Argonauts beating the Alouettes. Another, like I said, 8-point game. Red Blacks needing OT to beat the Blue Bombers, 31-28. Like I said, crazy games. But the craziest game, I only caught the end of this. I got to my buddy's house and this was happening. Went down Regina. The game that looked like the Stamps had it in the bag. 3rd and 24, 58 seconds left. The backup in the game, Mason Fine, launches this Hail Mary. There's 3 Calgary defenders. It looked like a crowded bar at Cowboys. And the defenders all went for the ball at once, popped it right up in the air. Tevin Jones just went yoink, ran it to pay dirt. Everyone's losing their shit. After the extra point, it's a 31-30 lead. This reminded me of NFL on primetime, but as a kid watching with my dad, and you'd see Chris Berman and Tom Jackson talking about the game, highlighting it with all the enthusiasm, and the ball would be up. And they'd be like, Hail Mary, what do you do, Tom? Knock it down. He says, you knock it down. You can see why. You don't pop it up like a bump set spike. They popped it up, got the ball, ran it all the way in. The home crowd was rocking like people at fucking Craven down the street. It was crazy. And the Stamps had 36 seconds to go. Jake Meyer used all that time to get in the field goal range. And a veteran kicker and owner of a great name, Rennie Paredes, smashed a 50-yard field goal for the win. A roller coaster of emotions. I could see it all in my friend wearing his Rider cape, crushing. He was cheering and he was down and out. It was kind of funny to watch, but it was also brutal as a Rider fan. And to add more insult to injury, Trevor Harris, nasty break in his leg. He's probably done for the year. They said there's a chance he could return. I don't think so. Sticking with football, the New York Jets will be getting Hard Knocks, so if you're looking into seeing drama, well, Aaron Rodgers was going there. You could have expected it regardless. And DeAndre Hopkins taking his talents to Tennessee. He's not joining a band. He is joining the Titans to fill that hole that was left by A.J. Brown. They're looking for someone, and he walks right in. He's destroyed them as a Texan, so we'll see what he can do as a Titan. Quick F1 news, no race, but big news, Danny Ricciardo. He's returning to the track. He'll be racing for AlphaTauri. Nick DeVries maybe brought up a little too soon. He's getting the boot. So Danny knows the team well. He raced with them with 2012 and 2013. They were known as Toro Rosso at the time. Toro Rosso. Oh, it's Toro Rosso. Sorry, my Italian is dropped. Come on. But yeah. This might put a little fire under Sergio Perez's seat, who's had some disappointing qualifying. And they're like, are we going to bring Ricciardo back into Red Bull? I don't know. Chris Horner says Sergio was one good race away from making everything good. But this could cause some uneasiness at Red Bull. Well, except for Verstappen, who he's got this shit covered. But July 23rd, Hungary Grand Prix. Making me hungry thinking about it. Sorry, bad joke. But anyway, the NBA, last little news I'll mention. Adam Silver and his wacky in-season tournament was announced a bit ago. We'll get more into that. It'll be starting in November, ending in December in Vegas. 2 stages, group play, knockout play. We'll get more to that as the NBA season commences. And there's talk of expansion. Don't get too ahead of yourself, though. The media rights deal needs to come to an end, and a new one needs to be in place, Silver said before we expand. What team are you thinking of expanding? The 2 out there, Seattle, they want to bring it back. The Supersonics, they should never have left. And Vegas, everything's going to Vegas. Why not? Summer League. Hey, Summer League's in Vegas. Cavaliers beat the Nets in the semifinal. Cavaliers beat the Nets, in the semifinals. Rockets beat the Jazz in the other semis. Monday night, they'll wrap that shit up and give a trophy, I'm guessing. But it's a great year of, showcasing talent. That's what it's about. These guys are trying to get paid to play the game they love. Kudos. Sticking with Vegas, WNBA, they had their All-Star game, right? Coming into the break, the Liberty won a super tight game in OT where Ionescu would drop 7 3-pointers. Let that be foreshadowing to what would happen. We go to 3-point contest. Ionescu, 37 points in the round. They have different wacky things. One ball's worth more. You have the money ball. But to break things down, she took 27 shots and she fucking hit 25. Crazy. Ballers were reaching out. Steph Curry had to give her a shout out. Crazy. And they had a skills competition as well, where the aces, of course, that's all they do is win. Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray won that. The All-Star game went on. It wasn't very competitive as All-Star games were. It was more like the NBA one where no one played defense. You know the Olay defense where you just let them go by you. Team Wilson beat Team Stewart beat Team Wilson. Jewel Lloyd, Seattle Storm stud, lit it up. 31 points, got her the MVP. Brittany Griner threw a dunk. I personally think the regular season games are more exciting than this, but it was cool to have Brittany Griner back because at the last All-Star game when it was going down, she was in a Russian prison. So, yeah, shit can change in a year. So, good stuff. Good event. It'll be interesting to see where the rest of that season go. We're probably going to see an Aces Liberty final, but who knows? The game isn't played on paper. We'll see what happens. The Gold Cup finished up. We had that go down. Canada got knocked out to USA in that footy tournament, but USA was all pumping their chest and they'd lose to Panama in the semis, Panama, they took them down. And then the other semifinals, everyone was talking Jamaica, the Cool Runnings boys. They're going to come in and beat Mexico. Well, everyone forgot to tell Mexico. Mexico beat them 3-0, including scoring 90 seconds into the game. That would set up a wonderful final between Panama and Mexico. No goals until the 88th minute. Santiago Jimenez would outrun the Panama defense, slot it in, give them the lead, and give Mexico the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Not everybody always sends the best players, but the players, they have to show up and they have to win. And that's what Mexico did. A few signings to mention. You know how Lionel Messi he was shopping in Miami doing his thing, taking selfies. His former Barca teammate, we mentioned Sergio Busquets, had a chance of going there. He's for sure going there. The MLS All-Star Game is going down Wednesday, July 19th in Washington. They'll be taking on Arsenal, who just had made it official and have Declan Rice signed with them from West Ham. We had mentioned it in another podcast. It's officially on paper. Declan, we will cheer for you wherever you go, but that's some excitement for the MLS to be taking on the Gunas in Washington. See who'll come out. I'm excited to see what that's all about. But enough of that men's soccer. We got women's soccer to mention real quick. Down under, we got the FIFA Women's World Cup. July 20th. The home teams will be opening. New Zealand will be hosting Norway, Australia with the Republic of Ireland. Canada opens up against Nigeria on July 21st. Well, it'll be July 20th our time at 8:30 in the evening. I know, Australian time difference is a little crazy. But obviously I'm picking Canada to win it all. Olympic winners. They have the talent to do it, and this is their time. This could be the last World Cup for our GOAT, Christine Sinclair. She's got to be on like a bill of currency by now. This will be her 6th World Cup. But there are teams to worry about. Obviously, our neighbors to the south, the USA, no one's louder and, sometimes better. But there's other teams. England, they won the Euros. You have Sweden, France, Germany. Don't forget about Brazil. There's surprises at the tournament. Maybe all those teams I mentioned won't even make the final. That's why we show up. That's why we watch this. It'll be exciting. Support your country, even though the time will be kind of rowdy. And a big boxing announcement, one of the biggest figures, Tyson Fury. Who's he fighting for a belt? Not this time. He's going to fight Francis Ngannou, who left the UFC, the former heavyweight champ. They'll be meeting in Saudi Arabia, of course. Bling, bling. And, they'll just be throwing down, see what's up. I'm excited to see it. These are two big men. If any of those punches hit, shit can go down. But, the last bit of sport I'll mention there is golf. Rory McIlroy won the Scottish Open. They finished around with 2 birdies, 68 to end it, taking down Robert McIntyre, who had a 64 on the final round. But British Open's going down next weekend, and some would say, winning the lead-up event might be a little unlucky, but I think it's good for McIlroy. It's just showing how good he's playing, and this, I think, will help him. Koepka, Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, any of them, probably a favorite. I'm thinking Norwegian Victor Hovland. He's been close. He's been right up there, and I think this is where he slithers his way to the top and wins the Open, but we'll see. There was a tournament in North America, too. American Century Classic. It was just celebrities, but not just celebrities. Steph Curry earlier hit a hole in one. How's he going to trump that? He's going to win the whole damn thing. And that's what he did. He won the tournament. Not only is he one of the greatest shooters of all time, it's a pretty good golfer. But, yeah, like I mentioned last episode, it was an amazing busy weekend. My wife and I were out celebrating our 1-year wedding anniversary, which got me thinking, maybe let's bring those shorts to the airwaves. Shorts of how we came to be. Well, as a couple, that is. Let's welcome to the show, for the second time, my wife, Caitlin Raque. Oh, she's got a theme song. Come on in, girl.
Of course I do. Of course. This is obviously one of our songs. Well,
I don't know if we have the rights to that.
Oh.
You might have to sing it next time.
Okay, we're good now.
Oh, you might have to slide a little more in there. There you go. You're good. Welcome to the show,
sorry.
Caitlin. Welcome,
Sorry.
wife.
Thank you, husband.
So, what we thought with these shorts, we'd do a little three-parter of some different areas. First, we'll talk about how we came to be. We've met at the Sutherland Bar. It may rest in peace. It is no longer a bar in our city of Saskatchewan. But, yeah, I went there. I was in another relationship, and I was saving up for a wedding, which obviously didn't go down. Everything happens for a reason, and the right reasons. But, yeah, what do you got to think on how we met? I was a porter. She was working in the off sale selling liquor.
Well, most people probably know it as a Scuzz. Sutherland might be a real
I'm classing it up.
retro thing, I guess. Yeah, no, I thought you were super annoying. The last thing you want to see or hear at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning is like some guy whistling, going to get like fill up a mop bucket to like clean up puke after someone's just called to well, I won't say the names, but you know, I'm sure with the imaginations out there you can imagine what you get called by people who you deem not eligible to buy at that time, among many other situations. And then yeah, like, just so, yeah, annoyingly optimistic.
So that's where we were, in a state of two different states, two different relationships. And, you know, as I said, everything happens for a reason. We both became available, started talking, started hanging out a bit. And then, you know, we were chilling one time at volleyball.
Yeah. At the Scuzz, obviously. And, oh my goodness, I'm almost sorry, I know we were chilling there. And I think we hung out, maybe the next time we hung out is, well, at volleyball, you're gonna make me say it. I did accidentally call you my boyfriend in front of one of your friends. And it was the first time meeting one of, like, your, like, OG Warman boys. Mm-hmm. So I knew I had to, like, make an impression. Didn't make the right one, though.
It worked out. We talked about it, and we're like, wait, we're dating? But, you know, we had the conversation, made it work, said, hey, we're dating, and played it out. And, you know, kind of went pretty well, because going about 6 years later, you know, there was a plan. Caitlin was, can I display your age? for a birthday.
No, I was turning 30.
I didn't want to give her a number.
And we were going to go on like a family vacation to Barbados. And it was all set out, and I made this like haphazard joke, being like, "Man, wouldn't it be like hilarious if you proposed to me
Little did she
on
know.
the beach in Barbados?"
Little did she know. I had
mean-
bought a ring. I was planning to propose in Barbados. And then there's a word, I don't know if you've heard it. COVID.
I don't know.
COVID came.
It's not exactly.
COVID showed up.
word.
Someone went to the bar and ordered a little too much Corona, I guess. And that left us where we were. COVID hit. Cancels trapped worldwide. I mean, people were stranded. It wasn't like we were stuck anywhere away from our families. We just couldn't go on this beautiful trip we wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing to ever happen. I really held out hope. I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I mean, yeah, this is really shitty what's going on, but they're not going to close borders. They're not going to do anything. We can still go on our trip. Like, I've gone to Barbados so many times with my family. Like, I was like a hopeless romantic to go back. I really thought we would be able to go.
But as things happened, we didn't go, which led to what actually happened. There were times, at first you were in bubbles, right? You can only be in your bubbles and different bubbles of people. There was a bubble group we went to, or this might have even been past the bubble phase. It's weird talking in these weird COVID terms. But we were out at Struthers Lake, which is a beautiful lake. We're actually going there next month. But anyway, we were there. Beautiful spot for us. I had brought the ring. I had planned to propose to Caitlin. But here's the thing. Let me paint this scene. It's fucking blistering hot out. We're with another couple, and I'm like, hey, Caitlin, let's go and leave them here, give them some alone time, and we'll just bounce. We'll go for a walk. Let's go down to the dock. And she's like, ugh, it's so hot. What else were you doing? You were not wanting to go.
No, I didn't want to go. Like, I knew you were so up my ass about this fucking walk, and it was hot. And that was, what I'm blaming my laziness on, is the fact it was so fucking hot, and I finally said, fuck, fine. Let me go to the bathroom, let me get myself a new drink, and we'll go for this fucking walk. And then, like, on this fucking, we're going down this gravel road, and I was just like, fuck, like, what are you doing? You're gonna propose to me or something? Because I was like, in my mind, I didn't know why the fuck he was so persistent about this fucking walk.
And in my pocket, burning into my leg, was this box with a ring in it. And I was like, oh my god, she's not making this easy right now. So then we get down to the dock and we kind of walk to the end. And it's beautiful. A beautiful dock. We're looking out. I'm like, look at this. And she's like, huh. I think she was actually enjoying the looking out at it.
I was.
She was. Not as angry at the walk, but she was enjoying the sight. And she's looking out. And as she turns around, I dropped to my knee, popped open the box.
No. When we got to the fucking dock, you're like, oh, it's like so beautiful. It was. It really was a picturesque setting. And he told me, you should take some pictures of this. So I was like, ah, fuck, fine. Like, I had my phone out, I'm taking pictures. He taps me, and honestly, I thought he was just hitting like a mosquito or something away. And then I turned around, and holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. Said the question. She's screaming. Finally get the ring on. I almost put it on the wrong one. We dropped to our knees.
Well, the wrong finger.
Wrong finger.
Not the wrong person.
Oh my god. Exactly. But then we drop to our knees. It's pretty emotional. We're like, she's screaming. And people are looking. I don't know if they thought I was beating her or what.
Yeah,
but she was screaming, crying. It was a great, beautiful moment. And I'm like, can we stand up? Like, the dock was so hot.
Oh,
our
yeah.
knees, I'm like, we gotta stand up.
It was like that ridge steel. It was so painful. And yeah, there's this... I still kind of feel bad for these poor people who are like, probably like drunk and in their like floaties in the lake. And I'm just screaming my fucking head off. But I mean, worth it. I mean, after probably 10 minutes, I actually said yes.
Mm-hmm. It was a good moment you don't forget. And then that beautiful moment at Struthers Lake led us to our wonderful day, which we just celebrated last week at the wonderful forestry farm here in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Like, The build-up was stressful, obviously. The Friday before the wedding, all the debit machines were down. You could not use debit. Some machines wouldn't give you money. You'd have to go to the bank for money.
It was all the banks in Canada.
Like, what the fuck?
Lost all their, like, debit. And we were just like, oh, fuck. I'm glad we're getting a ton of our shit today.
Luckily, it obviously worked out. But fucking talk about stress being added to something where you did not expect more stress. But, yeah, it was good. We had some people help us out greatly to get us through the whole day. You know, we had our hotels lined up. We stayed there. In the morning, I went for a nice, peaceful swim. Caitlin's morning was not as quiet as peaceful.
Like, I still remember it being, like, relatively calm, but I also remember being so fucking hot.
It was hot.
Like, we had 2 fans in the suite I was in for AC, and I had them full blast. And I was still so fucking hot. Because what people don't, I guess, realize is that not only, like, you have everything else going on, but everybody brings, like, ring lights for pictures, and then they've got their blow dryer plugged in, straightener, curler. And then opposite, you've got someone else doing makeup. You've got all these fucking bodies. It was so hot. I was so stressed out because hair and makeup came and none of my bridal party was there yet. So, I mean, obviously I would have gone first anyways, but that didn't help.
Mm-hmm. No, mine seemed a lot more peaceful. And then you're like looking online and you see at Costco, there's like a storm breaking out. Where it was where you could see clouds, but we're like, what is going to happen? It did all clear because it got hot as, like we said, hot as balls. And like, even going to the wedding, Caitlin was going in the limo with the ladies, and my boys, we were going to hop in, you know, just a fancy Uber to get to the site, get some last minute shit. But as we were getting ready to go in the Uber, I was like, oh my God. And they're like, what? I'm like, the marriage license is at home. They're like, what? I'm like, you guys go. I got to drive home and get this. So another buddy told the guy who was wearing the cape at the Rider game. He came with me. We went, got it, ripped back in time. It was chaotic, but, you know, we thrive on chaos.
Yeah.
It was an emotional ceremony, hot as balls. It was
so humid.
A beautiful day. And then, you know, it went well. It went perfect.
Oh,
we both said what we needed to say. It was
no
great.
Complaints about
we had people there.
It was hot and humid, but that all like pales in comparison to like the other like happiness and amazingness that was our day.
Yeah.
Like you looked amazing. The boys looked amazing. Yeah. Obviously, I looked amazing.
Our photographers just nailed it.
They nailed all the shots.
Yeah. Chris and Alexis knocked it out of the park. Ever after.
Yeah, with all of this, I mean, a shout out to my parents.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God, it wouldn't have happened without my mom and dad.
Yeah. Everybody, our friends.
I was like, your mom was great.
Yeah. My mom had a broken leg.
Yeah.
She was in a wheelchair because we won't get there. That'll be another
That's
episode.
a story maybe we don't need to tell.
But she was in a broken leg in a wheelchair, still partying. We had a good time.
Yeah, our friends were great. Everyone was great. It was amazing. It
was amazing. And look at us here today. 1 year married, coming up 10 years together next year. Like, goddamn. Love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. Love you, baby.
I love you too. I know it's not the most exciting, but I think it's a good story.
It's a story of love. And in these days of craziness, you need a little love. Because love will keep us together. Anyway, this isn't Captain and the Tennille. We won't go there.
Well, maybe it is.
Episode 19 in the books. Thank you again, Caitlin Raque, for joining, my wife.
Much appreciated.
And, keep real. Enjoy the summer, guys. Thanks for coming along. Episode 19 in the books. Ren City out.